Oh, I lost your mic. You
Hello?
there?
Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
you're good. You're good. Might have to just not do the camera, I guess.
Right. So, um, yeah, so I came off of February with equity highs. I was sitting at 63.5%. And then coming into April, everything was kind of just pulling in a little. I just finished off down 10% that month. But I didn't realize that you
Oh
had to
yeah.
record every month or else they just wouldn't put you in.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just didn't do it. But now I'm up pretty good. April was amazing. I'm gonna report for April. I'm up about 130%. So yeah, it was a little nuts, and it was crazy because that was when I did the least amount of trading. I bought the least amount of stocks. My watch list was the main thing I was looking at. Not even any scanners, any screeners, nothing. So
Nice, dude.
uh, yeah, all the stocks I was looking for, I found good entries for. I mean, ideally would have loved to. I think in hindsight, seeing that my positions were working, I think I should have pressed the gas a little more on the risk side as
Mm.
opposed to staying in that like 0.5% risk because things were working for me in my portfolio. I shouldn't be looking at what the indexes are doing. But yeah, can't complain. Sitting at about 130%, I'd say 30% are unrealized. So
Right on, dude. Hell yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. What? Are you kidding?
thank you.
Um, and what okay, so you said you said something there where you should have been looking at the indexes. When we buying most things, you say you're focused on your watch list, were you buying most things before that, Wednesday and gap up day where we got the follow through day, or were you more
Right, yeah, I did have a couple positions in this little consolidation because I did see like some higher lows. Obviously all my names were relative strength names, stuff above the 10 and 20 EMA. I didn't buy anything below that. I didn't think there was anything worth buying, anything that made sense to buy. I know I had Wolf, a little piece of Wolf here prior to
nice?
this, and then added on this gap up. I mean, look at it now. I should have added some on Friday. I just chose not to, I guess. What else did I have? I had MU. I got it on this day. It was after this little this
Yep.
little gap up kind of failed, and I bought it the next day. So that was nice to see. It was kind of going sideways. Again, could have added a little piece on this another gap up. This might have been earnings. I'm not too sure, but yeah, that looked great. SNDK was another one. This one is obviously frustrating to see that my first buy was on January 2nd. It was my first buy of the year. And, you always want to look at it and say, hey, if I just kept this, I'd be up 400% on my account with 1% risk. But that's obviously not the case. I bought it on this day, sold full position on the 2nd or the 10th of February, and then rebought it on this day. Where is this? April 9th.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that's what we're working with. We have some newer ads like Saddle. I bought this here. What is this? April 30th. AOI and Light. I got this one pretty recently. Yeah, April 30th. So I made a couple new buys fairly recently. This one I bought the day before actually. I bought this one on the 29th.
Nice.
This is like the most amount of names I've held. Shout out to BB for calling my port small and then it's easier to have more names with more money. But CoreWeave I got on this day. This is the 29th also. So a lot of newer names, but they're all sticking really well. So yeah, let's see how they continue moving. The only thing I'm worried about a little bit is just saddle, but other than that, it looks fine. Just letting it work right now.
You could add to that if we break out over that $8 or whatever,
Oh
780.
yeah, yeah for sure. I mean, it looks, in my opinion, I think RKLB looks good too. I don't know. I think this one's been acting really well. It has this
Yep.
little explosive move. It can make moves like this once, twice. It could do it, 10 more times. So
Yeah.
I tried Lunar a lot. This was my choice for my aerospace and defense stock, but it was super choppy. Um, Yeah, and PL also really nice. A good day today. I'm not sure if it wasn't an oops up setup, but it definitely had this little washout,
Yeah,
and it went. You could have done like a nice little 620 setup, where the 6 EMA crosses over the 20 EMA on the 5 minute chart.
yep,
So yeah, there's a bunch of little neat tricks you could take. It doesn't have to be the traditional breakout. So entries are just how you manage risk.
yeah. And hey, that one going back to SNDK, quick, the where you said you sold on sometime like early February when we lost
Is this day,
the tech
February
yeah,
10th?
are you riding full and just fully trailing that?
No, so my first sell was 5 days into the initial move, like the classic 3 to 5 days.
Yep,
And then I was trimming 10% with every extension after 7 ATRs from the 50 EMA.
yep,
So it left me with kind of a small position. I think I sold my last position with like 60% ish. But I was telling Pat before we started the live that if I truly think that my the stocks I'm in are going to be leaders for the next couple months, going forward, I'm going to be switching to the weekly charts and just letting them work on its own. So for this, it would be obviously SNDK. Another name would be NBIS. Like I had recently out of I believe I got it on this day, and I ended up selling pretty recently on April 24th. But
yep.
like I mentioned in hindsight, if I think and I do think this name is a leader, it's going to be a leader for a while. Obviously, that could change, but in hindsight, I wish I would just switch to the daily and let it work, even if, this little drawdown. It's obviously frustrating to see it go down 12% in a day. But yeah, hindsight should have probably just kept this one.
Yeah, no, even if you just draw like a flat level over the previous all-time highs, I know you got the trend line there, but if you all it did was just barely dangle underneath these previous all-time highs, the left side peak there for a second, and then
All
look
right.
at I mean, it gets lower wicks, and then 3 days in a row puts in, and actually put in higher lows for 3 days in a row, never broke previous day low, in this spot. Again, I know it's choppy and messing around and whatever, but that's also the nature of the stock too.
All right.
Um, but very subtly made those three higher lows, and then and then got the gap up with some headlines, and then blasted here. What is this, $40 in 3 sessions? Um, I mean that's a sick move.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. And I could have hopped back in this thing on Friday, but like I mentioned before to Pat, I took I had CoreWeave on the 29th, so I didn't
okay.
want to dabble with both CoreWeave and NBIS. So that was my reasoning behind it.
Um, and then what do you in the morning? I guess it's to Nick. I guess it's turned into an interview. What in the morning? I'm just genuinely curious. And in the morning or the night before, are you doing classic like relative strength scan, top gainer scans, or building your watch list? I know or you just track like a relative strength list of X amount of names, and like that's your go-to for this cycle, and then you're adding or removing from that relative strength list, or what's your
Yeah, exactly. So my list changes fairly frequently. I wouldn't say too much, but it is mainly based off of relative strength. Once I see a move or a stock like trade under its 50-day EMA for three days plus, I just kick it off because even if it does come above it, then obviously the names on the top of my watch list are moving way higher, and
Mhm.
there's no need to be in names like that are obviously failing when names in the same group are ripping higher.
Right.
That goes for stocks like BE, VRT, AMPX. These are all strong stocks, and if you see names in the same group that are acting weaker while these are all ripping, it isn't. It's very pointless to get in them. There's no sales in this in this game, so
That's right.
yeah.
That's a good line.
There's no fire
Don't tell
sales.
the PE bros that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny. I had a buddy of mine message me. Let me pull up the stock. But he was like, "Oh, I think this is a good buy," and he sent a chart that was, I think, 30% down on the year.
yeah.
It was, let me see the name. 1 second. It was PSUS. So Yeah, so you got one of these, they see it's down 30% and they're just hoping it goes back up. So really, really interesting. Have you seen this XNDU today?
I did see the XNDU today. Yeah, I mean that's brutal.
It's it's the drawdowns of trading these shitcodes. So you got to take them as they come.
The good with the bad, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
And
how it
and
should go
this
sometimes.
this really does show the importance of position sizing as well as risk. Because yeah, hypothetically, you could have got 1% of your portfolio in this thing, and that could have been 30% of your 1% risk and 30% per portfolio. But if stuff like this happens, your 1% goes out the window. And I know it isn't that common, but with companies like this, it's more likely than not that you get caught in that. So I think who is it on Twitter? But basically, they just mentioned always having not much more than a 10% position size.
Yeah, people wish.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's who it was.
yeah, he's in the chat sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know how much he pops in, but he's in there. Um, and yeah, I always hang out in day trade rehab too, and gotta see what he's saying. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, no, nothing. Nothing you can do with that. Like you say, you gotta take it a good bet. Is that something that you generally adopt? Are you doing like the risk first one to where if it's a risking 30 cents and 30 cents equals 1% of your account or 0.5%, or are you just doing 10%, 20% sizing, or what do you?
Right. So when I first started, I was all about like, look, if it's if it's 1% risk in my account, I could get 50% of it, then
Mhm.
I'm all for it. But the more I did that, the more I realized I was trimming way too much. I couldn't handle, these my portfolio was just as volatile as the stocks I was trading,
Yeah.
and I didn't want a 30% swing in the morning. So even if I could get that much of it and then I end up trimming more than 70% of it in 2, 3 days, it's pointless. So, sticking to, I think 15% for me is a sweet spot. 20% is good. I wouldn't do it with names like XNDU.
Yeah.
Um, but your big bases, your great setups like your SNDKs, I think it's definitely worth, your 20% portfolio with 1% risk. And another thing I was telling Pat was, I mean, I don't know if I said it in this while we were recording, but looking at my trades, 4, 5, 6 trades are green in a row. I think I need to start pressing the gas a little more and start risking more than that 0.5%, even if the indices are, sometimes failing a little or downtrending, acting weak. So I think your portfolio performance is way more important than how the indices are doing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I swear as time goes on, I just notice just less and less, correlation, or even maybe not less and less correlation, but a significantly lagging correlation with the indexes to where, if I'm waiting for a systems go, or if I'm waiting for permission from the market, or waiting for confirmation from, the QQQ or the S&P or whatever, then um, well, then if I'm gonna accept that, then I'm gonna have to also accept that I'm not either gonna not gonna get the best stocks, or B, gonna have to wait for consolidation. And well, it's more frequent that it doesn't give you that.
Yeah. And you're
Because
gonna tend to be in laggards at that point.
yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you're waiting for the indices, then your RKLBs are already gonna be going.
Yeah, I mean, look at it gapped down on earnings, but TER, for example, it happened the same way in last year. If you just kind of zoom back and get rid of these last 4 or 5 sessions, um, look at this. I mean, I use the 50 SMA. You got the EMA on there,
Right.
but we didn't break the or no, you do have the SMA.
Yeah,
We
I
just
use the 5, 10, and 20 EMA and then the 50 and 200
Yeah,
SMA.
yeah, same as this. But like, look at this. I mean, this just put in a higher low versus March. So when the market was, breaking down and going like 7% lower, something like TER was putting in a higher low
Right.
only able to close below the 50 for one day. Something like SNDK didn't even touch the 50-day moving average. Or so it did one day. Something like Light didn't even touch the 50-day moving average. And look what they've done since, right? Light's up 50%, fairly seamlessly. SNDK, MU, the same thing. I mean, all of these hinted so strongly at what they were going to do once the market found its footing. It's just incredible.
Right. So what's funny is I took Light and SNDK. These were my two first trades of the year on the same day. And obviously that's scary because you don't want to go into the year, being down already. So, yeah, I mean these just worked extremely well for me right off the bat. So that kind of helped me push a little more in January. But what's even more annoying is December 30th, I just closed all my positions. I was like, I'm joining the USIC. I don't want to be in a drawdown potentially, but there were three names that I were in. It was ONDS. I mean, not that we're in, but ones I wanted to stake right before the year started. It was ONDS over here, 1231.
Yeah.
And obviously this made a move of like 70%. And the other one was, I believe it was AMPX. I think this is also 1231. Oh wait, sorry. All right, where is it? Or no, it was another name. I think it was another name. But let me see just in case. Well, it was ONDS and something else, but I,
And
I tweeted about it. But yeah, I was also super frustrated because going into the year, I was like, damn, I could have been up X amount, but better
yeah.
preserve the mental capital anyway.
Yeah, I like that though. A fresh start. Dude. It's the same thing for me. The past 2 years in January's have just been started off just so cleanly and like almost like scripted perfectly, and it's such a solid like feeling and cushion to get in the first like week or 2 weeks of the year. I really recommend and emphasize that finding a way to get a cushion, get into some good things in the first couple weeks to get that first 5%, 10%, 15% gain on your account can do wonders of and come February, come March, come April, whatever, when it starts like messing around.
Yeah,
um,
for sure. And you also want to be able to have that cushion to take these names that are a little more sketchy, but they can make these big moves. Like this is not really a traditional entry that I took on BE. Oh, it was on this day. I don't know if you can see on this left hand
yeah.
side. Let me move it over a little bit. 1 second. But this is not something I would typically take over here. I bought this. I saw it gapped up. It failed, rejected the 50 SMA twice in a row. And once it broke above it, I took it here at like 108 and a half. And this is not something I would do without cushion typically. So
Yeah.
having that cushion, it was only 7 days into the year, but it made a nice move of let's see. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I ended up trimming along the way, is up like at its peak like 63%. Closed it here under the 10 EMA.
Yeah.
So yeah, just nice little gainer here.
Beautiful. And then what happened?
And then this thing kept chopping me around. This thing and Lunar were so frustrating to deal with. Every time I thought it was going, it just chopped me out. And eventually, I had no faith in it on on this day. Yeah, obviously, looking back, I should have taken it, but I was dealing with other stocks too that were super frustrating in the same group, like GLW.
Yeah.
This thing was kind of like it gapped up. I entered here, it kind of just went sideways, and I'm watching BE go at the same time. And I'm like, damn, I wish this would go. I'm thinking, should I sell this and get in BE? And it was a mess. So, but whatever. That's part of the game. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything even if I could go back because I've done this little game where I've sold the stock I'm in, chopped in the other, get chopped up, and then come back to this. It's never worth it. I
You're
think the name was,
playing
yeah, I think it was
potato.
AXTI. AXTI was another one that I just didn't want to buy so close to the end of the year because I knew that eventually I'd have to either take it in with the risk of it. You know, it's 15 ADR stock, 15% ADR stock. So if I came into the year down 3-4%, it would definitely hurt my emotions for sure.
Yeah.
But this chart looks ridiculous. I see I think it's Ariel trying to short this thing. He just
Oh
kept trying.
boy.
This thing looks ridiculous. I don't know. I
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably crater. Like, it'll probably crater eventually. Um, it'll probably crater eventually. I don't doubt that. But right. I
don't know.
mean, yeah.
Right.
Right now, there's a lot of hot merchandise. I personally would rather trade on this side of the market. What are you doing during March? How'd you control your drawdown, or did you control? I guess did you control your drawdown, or did you get fucking smoked?
Yeah, so it wasn't really that I was taking a lot of names and getting like big losers from. It was just the names I was in that peaked in March or in February that were just kind of pulling back a little. Um yeah, it was just names that were just pulling back a little. Additionally, I was like I think it was names like PL too. I was trying
Yeah,
these things. This little thing was probably like 4 or 5 entries for me all of March. Um,
yeah,
yeah, could I have waited for the bigger move? Sure. But when you do it on names like these that could do 10-15% a day, you tend to miss out on them. So I'd rather take a stab at them multiple times. It's PL, Lunar, and B. Like all these little annoying wicks, I was probably in this 4 or 5 times each. But yeah, I mean my trimming helped a ton. I could have been way worse if I didn't trim in extensions of the 50 SMAs for um, leading names.
yeah.
So I'm definitely grateful for that, and it allowed me to pay off my next loss.
I like it.
Yeah. What else?
Uh,
We have this car
are
move.
you are you willing to are you gonna try to or how do I phrase this? What do you want to do better during the next market drawdown or drawdown in your account? What do you want to do better in the next period of drawdown in the market? That's the question.
Now that's a great question. I think for sure what I'm gonna do is pay attention to my last 3 trades because what tends to happen for me is, I'll be in names like SNDK and BE, and they'll be ripping every day. And
Mhm.
I'll put on new buys, and they'll get stopped out, but my account will still be slightly up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, everything's going well. But once your leaders start pulling in, you get that kind of compounded effect with losing this, and you're like, oh shit, I only lost 2 Rs today from SNDK, but then you forget earlier in the week you lost another 3 Rs from buys that just didn't work. So your open P&L
Yep.
is kind of skewed. Looks a lot bigger than what your realized gains are. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely looking at my most recent trades and determining how much I want to press the gas or not. But yeah, other than that, I think it was okay.
Good.
Uh, Yeah. I mean, obviously, maybe in a year from now, I'll look back at this and be like, "Oh, this kid's an idiot." He did, but yeah, the
You
car.
will, you will, we all will. I mean, I look back at any previous conversation or notes. I'm like, oh man, where are you looking at? Like even some stuff from like myself and last year I'll be like in the middle of February like looking at Tesla hammer candle right at in between the 50 SMA in the middle of 2025 or early first quarter or trading Coinbase early 2025 like I'm like man. Like you're just trying to be entertained right now and just kind of churning through your account and like go back and I do like doing those monthly kind of look backs at at least my losing trades for sure and being like what could you have done a little bit better on this loss um that's something that I like to do at least.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not. Go
so
ahead, sorry.
in sorry. So last year in early in the year, I had Hood and PLTR, and kind of the exact same thing that happened. I was up in, let's see, this little breakout. I'm not sure if you can see this. It's super small, but it's in January, about January 15th. I had Hood and it's up 50%. I have PLTR, and these are like the main names at the time.
Yeah.
Early 2025. Where is it? Should be here. Yeah, it's like the same day. And these things are both ripping. And I'm putting on new buys, putting on new buys. My account's going higher and higher. Come February, I went from up 50% to just up like I think it was 18%. I'm like, damn, I'm in the best names. If my account's kind of struggling
Yeah.
now with the best names, like what's gonna happen? And then I just start spiraling. So yeah, just focusing on the new buys is like this was another example. So I think over the last year I've done a little better managing the drawdown, but always areas to improve on.
Yeah. And I think like I agree, man. There's what did I say the other day? It's like a process of actually Zen said it. It was as you get on it, it ends up being a process of elimination versus versus a game addition.
Right.
In your trading. I say it a little bit more candidly. I'm just like just suck less, and
Yeah.
like
No,
it's
that's the truth. You don't gotta do anything crazy. The
yeah.
the the big moves usually they're right in your face. You want to pick out, these weird little flags. Like I have this drawn here. This is not necessary. Stock's been trading under the 200, under the 50. It's just why are you looking at this when you have stuff like this in your AXTIs? So
It's true though. I mean, it like it is it is as simple as this, and there's something I noticed in a lot of trade, and myself too, is trying to be a little bit fancy sometimes, with some things, and drawing a line, like mapping out what I think the next 10 candles can be. Like, yeah, that's beneficial and all that, but there's also times where it's like not beneficial. Like that line on Palantir. Like, is there a point to that? Like, does it
yeah, yeah.
like
You kind of just if you stay at the screens too long, you kind of just start making things up and start
dude?
imagining things. So sometimes it's better, doing less is a lot more beneficial. Obviously, it helps if you're doing well. I mean, the points where you start doing stuff like this is when you're kind of sucking. So
Yeah, I mean, when was that? That was mid March. Mid March. I mean,
yeah,
um,
convenient. Yeah,
90% of stocks were looking like shit, but it's those 10% of stocks. I mean, those like maybe not 10%, just a random number, but that are worth trading. I've been saying the line in the chat lately is you don't need new stocks, guys. Like, it's not about just finding the next obscure stock. Like, they'll be plain and obvious. Like, it's the ones that are set up really nicely, and the ones
yeah,
that look really nice. Just hit the good ones. Take the easy ones. Take the easy trade.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a big part of that is it's that psychological thing of if your AEHR went up 150%, you'll look at the same group and see one that's breaking out now.
Yeah.
So instead of just waiting for this to flag out.
Yep.
This was another one I took. I took it on this day,
Yeah,
April
boy.
2nd. I ended up selling this one a couple of days ago, actually. So yeah, this is still on my watch list. It's down 8% today. Just kind of waiting for this to flag out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing I could do better on too. Just buying the stocks that I had previously been in and sold instead of just like kicking them to the curb when they're just doing what they're supposed to do.
Yep. 100%. You don't need new stocks. You don't need
Yeah,
new stocks. Really. You keep pulling up this card. You ride the short
yeah.
bus or what?
So this thing is like this thing can mess with a trader's head so much. It's annoying because I was watching it on this day and I'm like, nah,
Oh,
this is not set up enough. It made it move 30%. These three candles aren't gonna do it. And then I watched it the next day, I'm like, damn, I should have got it. And then, I'm hoping the parabolic short is this thing. And then come to find out my broker doesn't even support shorting, so
yeah.
but I did take a little Robin Hood
Write them a thank you note, I think is in order.
Yeah, probably. I probably would have got chopped up. I probably might have made back my money anyway. So yeah, but this is cool to see. I've only shorted maybe 10 times in my life, but I think 9 of those times have worked out. I
Nice.
think it's like, yeah, it's super rare, super rare. Like I got UMAC over
Oh yeah,
here,
that's a good one.
and then the first times was with SMCI and NVIDIA.
Yep.
Back this is when I really started understanding the concept pretty recently, 2024.
Yep.
But yeah,
It's
SMCI,
a good tool to have. Like keeping the spank bank for something when it's really blindly obvious. But honestly, my opinion, you don't, especially looking at stuff right now. Like an AEHR, like an SNDK, whatever you name it, and Micron, Bloom Energy, AXTI, moves in Intel, and the undercut and remount. Um, you just take the easy trade.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
it's not that complicated when you really zoom out.
yeah,
We all try to be heroes sometimes.
I know.
Circle was a nice one today. Circle
That
was
was a
definitely.
nice one.
I definitely think this thing it could potentially flag out here, and this would be an amazing. I wouldn't call it 5-star setup, but it'd definitely be something I could risk closer to a full percent on, which doesn't sound like much, but it's it looks nice. Threw it on the watch list.
Does look nice. I think it's got a burst in it. Probably continues for probably gets a burst trade. Whatever 2, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever. That thing. At least that's what I want to see. So
Right? Yeah, that'd
I've
be
got some of
perfect.
this. I'd like to see it take out. What's the? I don't know if you're an Anchor View app guy or whatever, but where is that? I think we took that out. No, it's up here. Sorry, up here, right around like 130, 132. Um, and yeah, like it's to be able to burst through that.
Yeah,
Which I think we're gonna test it probably tomorrow or whatever Wednesday, and then
yeah,
that's my
that
expectation of it.
that'd be ideal. What do you do with these new IPOs? Like it was, we had Swarmer.
Yep.
Um, because I saw a lot of people in the group buying it on the same day, and I'm not sure. Like, is it based on like 30-minute charts or hourly charts or
Yeah,
what
so
each
yeah,
person do?
I will look at the hourlies straight up like they. So actually go to Circle. I don't know if you can access the hourly on Circle from back in IPO time. Um, I wonder if we can go back there, can we?
Well, not sure if it
Nope.
goes back that far.
Shoot. It's good. Go to 65 minute. Yeah, we can just do it on that.
Okay,
Is that cool? 65 minutes. Got it. There we go. Um,
there we go.
yeah, so perfect. I just treated this like a daily chart. Because I traded this actually at 115 or no 108.60. I had an entry on that day, 613.
Yeah, it's huge.
Um, and it's like kind of just treated this like a daily. So drew a trend line from the highs, treated this like a big old flag right there, and then ripped this up, and then it gave another nice little hourly setup right there at like 155 or whatever. Shortly after that. So I'll do the same thing. Like I'll look at these. It's got to be special. Some of them. Like a core weave. I was watching. A lot of the hourly and dailies on that. A lab. I did that on A lab. Tried it on a few other things like recently, like XE, SWMR was one. But yeah, essentially just look at the hourlies and treat them like dailies on the young stocks until they set up properly.
Yeah,
Um,
that's something I gotta do better too. I just with these IPOs, I'm looking at the daily and I'm thinking, the stop loss is 10-15%. I don't know how everyone's getting insides in this thing, but yeah, I
hey,
think
some
could
of it's
definitely
just
do a better
rolling the
job.
dice too.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, like this is a great example of what you can do with when you have cushion in the year.
Yeah.
You see a circle, a core weave. It's definitely something you could, throw it at the wall, see if it sticks.
Yep. 100%. Um, Man, I'm excited for some more IPOs like this. You should take some time one evening and go through. and go through a number of them because I think we're gonna in the second half of the second half of the year. I think there's gonna be a number of pretty kick-ass IPOs that gonna take the world by storm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is super exciting.
Yeah, very
A lot of
exciting.
opportunity to come.
Um, anything? Are you pretty much just chilling and managing your positions, or is there anything you're looking to get involved in the coming weeks or something?
Nothing, not really any new names. Maybe like I would definitely just love to. I mean, I'm kind of fully invested, not fully, but I'm probably like 130% invested in.
Yep.
It's yeah, just like the drawdown thing. It's just for me, it's maintaining the drawdown. That's always kind of been a not a problem, but something I could work on.
Hmm.
So if I start getting to that 150, 180% mark, and then we have one of those days where everything starts pulling in, kind of spiral a little bit. So not looking to put on any new exposure, but maybe adding to names that I'm already in, like how we saw where was it? Like CoreWeave. Like if CoreWeave makes a little flag here, that'd be great to add to. Um,
I
but
agree.
yeah, other than that, just letting things work right now. No need to do anything crazy.
I love it, man.
What about you?
Looking for. So I haven't started my scans yet. I just got the kids to bed. Before hopping on. I plan on going through here. I CRML. I'm in this CRML. I really want to see some of these rares get going. And I think they can. USAR. I got a position on that from 2360 is my average now. So I added to it on Friday. Um, just nice, respectful flags.
Yeah,
Um, on these things. Um, Rocket Lab, I'm still interested in this. You would have liked to see it close stronger. I really want to see us go tomorrow and kind of break out of this. Not super crazy, but I think this can go push up to 100. And I found a good area to risk against early last week, and I had to again today raise myself up to today's low. So I've got it. I'm in it with a buck 50 a risk. Going forward, man, SGML, really want to get into this. This looks just amazing.
yeah.
Um,
We were talking about this one. I think when was it? Was it this day? I think it was the 13th.
yeah,
But yeah, and then this does look pretty special. Like this group as a whole, they all look really good. But when you take them individually, you have things like this. Like I bought it this day. I'm up a good 20% and I get stopped out, and then it goes the next day. It
yeah,
stops you out. This one trades like shit. So
yeah.
SGML does look really good.
SGML looks great. It probably was Bible today. I posted about it a couple times. I didn't get involved in it. Um, Yeah, we'll see. I gotta run through some scans. It'd be nice to get some flag. I mean, I do think that we get some consolidation, broadly in the market. Um, but it's I think that there's still going to be setups that work and fall through,
Yeah.
whether MU and BE and the Qs and whatever the hell consolidate or not. I'm like pretty confident, or at least I want to at least have that mindset that I think things can continue to continue to work. BE was, yeah, I didn't like to see, or sorry, BB, I didn't like to see that fade back in today. I tried some and then on what was it on Thursday? And it wasn't moving as fast as I wanted to, and sold it on Friday for whatever 5 cent gain. And it was bummed that it was gapping up this morning. So I'm like, man, why'd you even sell this? This looks great. And then it closed super weak, so we'll see. I'm just kind of running through some lists. I really like the earnings moves that we saw in Twilio.
Oh right,
Um,
yeah. Huge base.
I mean this looks sick. That's a sick 1 to 2 day move on this. I think Hut looks amazing. You got any Hut? Dude, look at this
No,
thing.
but
I got
I have
Wolf.
Wolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hut looks great. In the beginning, Hut looked a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Um, because these had 4 or 5 days in a row that was just going up and up, and Wolf was kind of going sideways. But I just stuck with what I had. But yeah, it looks great.
Dude, there's so many of these like mid level, like mid to small cap semis that look amazing. I mean, I'm just going through my list. VECO. If this continues to flag out, like this looks fantastic. A little bit lighter volume. ACLS, another one that, if it flags out, this just looks, phenomenal. Um, GLW, I love the double inside days. Really want to see this get going. It's been like a little bit of a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but pretty excited about earnings season for more Twilios to come about. Um, Dell really want. I think the next shakeout down to 200. I'm gonna try to get involved in
Yeah,
down to
right
two.
at the 20 would be really nice.
Yeah, I'm much more willing, based on this conversation, I'm much more willing to buy some weakness into some of those support levels where, like you'd want to buy it as it's kind of breaking out of the flag, right? I'll gladly buy, down into some of the moving average support and
Right, yeah, that's like Chartmaster, he preaches that all the time. So I was looking at this Fastly on this day. I was like, look, nice little 30-minute pivot. I think in hindsight I should just tried it just for the sake of it. And then you could have added to it on this day. So that's another thing I could definitely get better at. Just buying these 30-minute pivots has been working for him. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's a solid setup. It's a solid way to get involved in some of the leading stocks. Donut support. ATEN, that's another one again. Thin name, only trades like 700K volume. Like there's a sick flag. This is a stock that does some security layers for some AI systems.
okay.
Um and like there's a software stock, right? Look at this software stock. Well, you got IGV coming off the lows. Look at that weekly flag build out. Daily's getting nice and tight. Um, so I do think that some of the software stocks that are strong and at highs are going to be really interesting. Um, you got things like CLS.
Yeah.
Again, not quite ready, not tight yet, but man, 3, 4, 5, 6 days sideways up here. Shit. What else are you gonna hit? Why not hit something like this?
Especially when
Um,
they get bought up like this quickly. I think GLW did it pretty well too. And this is just so strong for these names to get pushed back up right to highs within 3 days of a gap down of 15%. That's
yeah, dude, go back to I don't know if you pop on Zoom during the session at all, but I was talking a lot last week about in preparation for some of these. If you go back to Palantir in 2025 in like May or June of 2025.
be back
Um,
here.
yeah, so let's scroll into that spot. It was, yeah, early May, actually, May 6th.
It should be
Right
here,
there.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, like this is the same thing. Like, okay, we came out of the correction. We had like a 100% move up, gap down on earnings, found support, and it gave this like 3-day reversal. And um CLS and GLW, kind of remind me of that. Um Something that I'm looking forward to seeing more of potentially.
Yeah, I think AEHR did it too. Like
Yeah.
over here. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
like this thing has done it multiple times. Yeah, a little gap down here, up, back up. So
dude, this man, if I can get this come down to below $80 and start to form a little hammer candle or start to find some buyers stepping in, I will slap this again. God, I was so bullish on this back at like 30, 28 to $30 back in there, and that 3 days of bear market at the end of March got me out of it. Can't believe I didn't buy this back.
that's all right. There'll be so many more. I mean, look, we're only in May, and there's so many names setting up. There's so many more opportunities to come. I'm not.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then, did you do anything with the oil? With any of the oil names,
Nah.
your VGs or
Nah.
me neither?
VG was good. That's a tradable setup. Um, but I've just found over time that it's just such a waste of time.
It is.
'Cause
It is trying to nitpick these little tiny. These little, this is one in 10,000 other bad names. So
yeah, like it's the same thing like trading like a Staples or a utility or a REIT stock while the market's in a correction. Yeah, like REITs and Staples and stuff are gonna be moving a little bit more and utilities and whatnot. Um, but man, it's just a distraction from what's actually gonna make moves once the market finds its footing.
you're
And
right.
more
It's
I just
it all
find.
comes down to not being worth the mental capital. That's what
Yeah.
it is. So yeah, I
Yeah, and
also
then
didn't touch these.
yeah, and then you start getting amped and you fall into the narrative of oil. Yeah, we need oil.
Yeah, you
You
start
know,
you start loving the name for you start looking into the fundamentals and this
yeah.
stock's fine. Yeah, so it's
And
such a
then all of a sudden I'm
oil
a
expert.
Hormuz expert and I'm
Yeah,
yelling at the QQQs because oil still won whatever. Yeah, no, it's not my jam. I don't
yeah,
think will ever be my jam.
I
Um
neither.
um and we'll see. I mean, market will probably slap us with a multi-year tech sideways, a lost decade, and then then we'll have to find a way to adapt. But
Until then, I'll be doing what seems to be working. So
that's right. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. And not even just like what's working on like a daily or weekly basis, but like what's working broadly. I wrote up in Sunday Scans a little bit about and like your message of what you said when we hopped on about looking at the weekly chart.
you're right.
Sometimes thinking in months and years versus even just days and weeks can really do a lot of good. Um,
Like even
and
SNDK, had I just held it for my first buy, it could have been smooth sailing instead of, you want to call tops and try to fight, just healthy pullbacks. So
Yeah. I mean, like realistically, you could buy this over IPO highs. There was a good daily setup down here in the 40s and $50 range at the end of August and got a cushion, trailed the 10-week moving average,
yeah, yeah,
and
for
you'd
sure.
still be in it. You don't need new stocks. Like,
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Look at this thing, 8 months, 8 months,
I mean, straight up.
half
Like,
thousand
it's,
percent, less.
and there's more, right? There's more. Listen, we'll be sitting here talking, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 8 years from now, and there will be more like this, like any of the other names that make big moves. And the question is you know, did you what'd you learn? Did you
Yeah,
sim- did you simplify? Did you simplify? Man, yeah, dude.
yeah, like for sure. I'm prepared to miss the next couple if it means in 5 years I could catch, your next SNDK at this $40 level. So
What's
signing up for it.
what's that quote? Oh yeah. This was after we saw Short Bear post on Twitter that Baba he had like a big Baba trade that he had been working on for like a very long time, and it started to come true. I think it was early this year. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, he said he made like 30% of his career profits, like of his career,
that. In
uh,
one name.
on that Baba trade. And after that, I said the line, "You have yet to make your best trade, and you have yet to make your worst trade." And I said that like as encouraging because if compounding is doing the work that it's supposed to in your trading, then your worst loss is far ahead of you. You're going to be losing how big your account is 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Like
Yeah.
that's going to be your 1R, your entire account. Hopefully, that's a goal, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I hope to be able to lose, 100 grand on a trade, and that's the
Heck
goal.
yeah.
I'm okay with losing more. I hope I do,
Yeah,
but
it means you just compounded the shit out of your account while stuff was hot.
it's exciting for sure.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you have these sickos in the USIC. They were up like 300% the first month. It was two guys. One's and then you have Martin. Look, from he's insane. He's been at the top of the charts, but he didn't report for the first 3 months, and then he showed up this month at
Oh, is
like
he in there?
yeah, like 93%. It's like, yo, we're so that's where I'm like, what was going on in January and February, and then you're reporting in March for 93%. Like, what's going on right now? So I wonder if his account just has that big of a swing.
Yeah,
That's
he's a gunslinger.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I forgot what name it was, but when I took I think it was my second attempt on it. It was his like sixth, and then he's tweeting, trying this one again. It's like you took six tries on this. It was crazy. Forgot what name it was.
He does. He's been doing some more YouTube streaming. I'll go back and watch a little bit of him at night when I'm scanning or typing stuff up or whatever. It's awesome. We should get him. We should get him on here for a
Yeah,
session. I bet I'll do it. Um, yeah, look at this.
but it was great. I was listening to when Christian Flanders came on.
Yeah,
I got to speak with him a little at he came to the New York City Trader Lion event.
yeah.
So yeah, nice guy.
Oh, Christian's a man. Christian's a man. Um,
Trying to see what name. Oh, it was SNDK. He traded SNDK. He's like stopped out 5 times in the last 2 weeks. This is my sixth attempt, and this was
oh boy.
February 17th. So let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I'll do this. I'll do the same thing. Oh, he was shorting it, Kibby. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you're trying to short it here, right? In this little second week of February.
The short bus strikes again.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't try to be a hero with these with these names that are making thousands of percents. This XTI, I just don't see it. Maybe I'll learn in a couple of years, but I don't know. Just not getting it.
His DOCN looks nice. This is a nice breakout over 100.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. The ADR jumped so much from last year. I'm not sure if you saw this one, but it
Yep.
wasn't as high. It was like 4 or 5%, and then we see like Nvidia doing the complete opposite. Now it's like 3%. I remember when I
Yeah.
first took it in 2024, it was like 8 9%.
Now it's just now
Yeah.
it's just it's an old grandpa.
Yeah. Wow.
So OUST looks nice. I actually thought this was gonna be stronger today.
I did too.
Um,
The
that's
volume
just
was
like
insane.
this might be in play tomorrow. Could be a delayed reaction. I'm gonna set an alert actually at $30 on this.
Yeah, this is
Oh.
like I'm sure Amit Rai would take something like this tomorrow. Um
Oh, speaking of LWLG, dude.
oh, this one you could have bought again recently
Yeah.
on what was this Friday? No, Thursday, I think. Yeah, this is another one that just keeps grinding higher, but I can't seem to get it. I'm thinking this isn't set up enough. I'm thinking this is just not the play right now, so you know. But this does look great. You have any other chemical like any stocks from this group that you're
Well,
looking at?
this is like not like I mean it is a chemical stock, but this is like got connections to the optics and photonic stuff.
Right, right.
Um, so that's why it's a little bit special. Um, I'm pretty content. I'm gonna be tracking UAMY tomorrow. I think it might be viable. I'm gonna be watching Dell.
This thing
Uh,
trades so poorly. I'm so
I know,
disgusted with it. But if you look at on the month or the weekly, it looks amazing. So can't
right?
can't argue with that.
Um,
You said you had USAR or no? Yeah, you do, right? I think we
yeah,
got
I got
it.
USA. I got
Yeah.
it on.
Oh yeah, your average was like a penny. It's like a penny lower than mine.
That's right. Oh yeah, I had the dickhead comment. I was like, "All right, Mr. USIC." That was good.
Nah,
That
this
was
thing
good.
looks great.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm just kind of sifting through here as we go. Keep an eye on this Atom ATOM. There's
Oh
another
yeah.
one. Could build out a flag here pretty soon.
Any interest in hymns? Like I see a lot of A lot of people taking hymns.
Nah, not really. Dude, so actually, this is funny that we're on Zoom in public right now. I this isn't what you think, but I had a doctor. Me and my doctor are super cool. I always speak very, very candidly with him. We were talking about, some other stuff, some blood pressure stuff if you need to know. And anyways, I was like, you know what I do. So I was like, I want to do a little research. I was like, if you wanted like hair loss or weight loss or dick pills, I was like, I could just get that and you could prescribe that to me like right now, couldn't you? And it was like, yeah. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. I was like, be covered by insurance. It'd be free. I'm like, you know what? And then you can get on Lilly Direct. You can get, all the same supplements for, for reasonable prices. And that I guess I'm a hater. I'm a Hims hater.
Yeah,
And guess
right
what?
there
It's
with
below
you.
the 200-day moving average. So
Yeah,
no,
another stock that this move to me is irrelevant until it, yeah, unless it does this exact move above here, it does nothing for me.
now real talk though. I mean, that's a nice flag. I could see people getting it. I can see people that like that little flag right there. Um,
Yeah, I guess you're right, but like I feel like if I go back to 413, there's probably like 10 other names I'd buy before this.
right?
But yeah, no, I mean, obviously in hindsight, if I could get 1% risk on this, it'd be great. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Bucket. I didn't mean to go into all that detail. That was my bad. Oops. Um, yeah, I'm just sifting through here. Cipher, I think was good. APLD looks good. Hut, I'm liking more and more.
Yeah,
I'm like, is this like the most screaming, obvious relative strength leader of the group? Aside from CoreWeave and BIS, which are like leaders and institutionally supported, much more so than like again a Cipher or even a Wolf or something like that. Might be slapping this.
I agree. This looks great. Would you potentially try another entry on this like tomorrow, for example? Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't think that's a bad idea at all. The only thing that concerns me is, it could be a little extended from the 50. So ideally, I want to see an inside day, but with things like this, it could definitely just go
I'd be
without.
fine. Ideally, I'd prefer one more little shakeout into 70 or above 70. So like we put in another higher low into 73, 72, 71, whatever. Hold the 20 MA and go from there while the market kind of consolidates would be my ideal entry. Oh yeah, look at Hut Weekly right there.
Yeah, this move into the EMAs is insane. This is what got me jealous when I had my wolf. I was like, oh, this looks really good.
Yeah. Well, any parting words?
Any closing statements? No, nothing on my end. I mean, I'm just hopefully I can report a good um April, and it feels like I'm fighting tooth and nail every day. It's like, oh man, only 4 months has passed, but yeah, we'll see. I'm super excited. I think the names I'm in are good. I'm not
Good.
looking to do anything too fancy, but yeah, thanks Pat for having me on.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate
dude.
it.
Let's do it again. Let's do it
Yeah,
again,
let's do
man.
it for sure. I'll definitely be
Um,
tuning in. You said you're gonna be having other people on every day this week, right?
yeah.
That's
We're gonna
sick.
do Chai Ricer's gonna come on. We're gonna do a workshop there. Probably do a classic one. I haven't talked to Barack, but I'm sure he'd be down for us to do. I mean, we're on Zoom all the time together, so Brandon need. I hit up PBA. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Jay. He's awesome.
Oh
I
right,
think
right.
he's willing to come on during midday during the session.
Oh,
Then
nice.
we got um George Coyle, the author of the Market Wizards book,
Yeah,
coming on
that's exciting.
Thursday
That's
to
exciting.
talk with us. Oh,
But
look at that! Look at the chat right now. CT up 725% on Wolf
yeah,
shares.
that's
What
nuts.
a gangster! What a
Yeah, I mean, if you
gangster!
could stick this out through all this chop, you deserve that.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Cool.
thanks so much.
Dude, thank you.
I'll see
Hey,
you
good
later.
luck. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Stay in the flow state. Stay
Thank
stay
you, bro.
hot.
Thank you.